Okay, hello, my name is Tejas. I am going to be presenting my product here today, which will allow users to determine whether they should buy HBO Max or Netflix for their movie and TV show purposes. They'll also be able to look at how movies and age certifications have changed over time using my product. Now, how did I do this? I got two data sets, one from Netflix and one from HBO Max. And I fetch the data from both platforms and combine them into one dataset. And I provided interactive tools to visualize and compare different aspects of the content. You can choose to look at only Netflix graphs or only HBO Max graphs, well, visualizations. Um, you can also look at the combined graphs visualization, which I have created to allow users to determine which one is better suited for their needs. Now, let's take a look at each graph visualization to get a basic general understanding of it. So for the Netflix only graphs visualization section, it only shows you the graphs related to Netflix, as the name suggests. So release year and IMDb score, you can look at it on a bar plot. I think that's hard to read, so let's look at it on a line plot so that we can actually get a good understanding of what we're looking at. And here we can see that over time, Netflix's movie and TV show ratings have dropped, and they've been continuing to do so for the last 3 decades at this point. Now, that's not the only thing users can use this for, though. They can also look at it on a scatter plot and see that in the last decade or so, Netflix has been pumping movies and TV shows into their streaming service. Now, has the quality gone down or has the age certification become lower? This is all something that users can see using the product that I have created right here. Now, people can use the same thing but for HBO Max instead. Same idea, year, IMDb score, bar plot. Again, it's going to be hard to read, so I'm just going to use a line plot right now. And we'll see that, again, just like Netflix, over time, the average rating for movie and TV shows on their streaming service has gone down. But in the last few years, they have started to come back up compared to Netflix. Again, just like Netflix only visualizations, they can also look at the scatter plot or other plots to see how many movies are coming in, the age certification of those movies, and etc. Of course, if they try to use variables that can't go together, the product will tell them so. For example, if I try to do IMDb votes and IMDb score, invalid choice of variables for scatterplot, which means that you're going to have to experiment around and just try different ones to see which one will work. My go-to, of course, is release year and IMDb score. To me, that's the most useful one. Now, I've also provided a combined graphs visualization. Now, users can't create their own graphs, but I have provided four that should help almost any user decide which streaming service they should actually get. So let's just run through them really quick. We have the comparison of average IMDb score by age certification. As you can see, Netflix doesn't group their certifications. Some users might prefer this, some users might think it's a little too excessive. It really is just subjective here, but it should help them because even though the scores are around the same, the average is pretty much the same for HBO and Netflix. There are a few outliers, for example, TV14 having a higher score on Netflix than HBO Max. Now, we can also look at the comparison of TV shows and movies on Netflix and HBO. Just shows you how many there are of each on each platform. You can see that Netflix takes the lead here. Then you can look at what I would say the most important, the average IMDb score by release year. And we can see here that both have gone down, but it seems that HBO is starting to come back up compared to Netflix. And then finally, you can just see the distribution of release years, see how many are getting put into the streaming services throughout the years. And you can see that it's been increasing over time, and Netflix, once again, has the most coming in. So, whether you're curious about which platform has higher rated content, or you want to see the distribution of TV shows versus movies, or maybe explore how content quality has changed over time, this program has got you covered. Now, that will be the end of my pitch. Thank you for your time. Okay, so this is going to be my reflection part of P4. So I'm going to start now, I guess. For the successes and failures, I think I succeeded in making good visualizations. I think that I was able to create effective ones that looked better. I think my grid one was very unique looking and looked a lot better than it would have originally if I didn't change it myself. Um, Being able to change some of the data was nice. I did have trouble. I tried grouping the Netflix age certifications, but I was unable to do so. I couldn't figure out how to do it. I was looking through old notes. I used chat. Didn't work out for me. I decided that, you know what, doesn't need to be grouped together, and it's fine if they're separated. For what I needed to change and why, I assume this is talking about what I needed to change in my code when I was doing the project. So when I imported the HBO Max data, it wasn't originally part of my initial story plan, but I realized that I needed more data to see if movies have gotten worse over time, and I thought it would be better to be able to compare two streaming services than just look at movies have gotten worse over time based on very limited information. But when I imported the HBO Max data, there was a lot of unnecessary columns, and the type like movies or TV shows, I remember I had to put in the movie section for that type because they only had the TV shows and movies were just put in as null, so I had to change that. Um, Now, what would I do differently next time? I definitely try to use a more recent database. Both the HBO Max one and Netflix one for were from 2020, I think, 2020 or 2019. And so I also wish that I could have found an HBO Max database that had the same columns as the Netflix one. They both had very different ones, which limited the comparisons I could make in that final visualization chart where I was supposed to compare both of them. Um, how would I improve it if I had more time? I would probably find a way to make users have more access to the variables so they're not so limited in the Netflix only visualization part. And I think I would also try to create like their own graphs in like the combined visualization section instead of me only providing four, they'll be able to create their own ones. And then what did I learn from this experience? I learned that I still am not the biggest fan of coding. I learned that from the class more so than the final project, but I still do enjoy coding projects, I guess. I like being able to code games more so than visualizations and stuff. But I did learn how to read code better through this class, which is nice. So I don't plan on being a programmer or a code reader. I just don't think it's my kind of work. Um, but I am happy to know that if I need to, I'll have a at least a basic understanding of how to do so. I'll probably continue to code for fun in terms of like coding games, which I enjoy doing. But other than that, I think that's all I have to say. I found this class to be pretty difficult, but it's I learned a lot, especially in the last few weeks, especially with visualizations and pandas. Those were the things that I did find very interesting, but found very difficult as well. All right, that is all I believe, and thank you.